Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hair Raiser Podcast.
That's right, Phil. Welcome to the show. In this episode, the SDSU women win big at home. The men drop 2 on the road. And of course, we'll take a trip around the rest of the Summit League with beer from EBC Brewing in Brookings. And of course, we'll make a stop in Lincoln Corner. And we'll see if Mark can maintain his winning streak and 3 headlines and a lie. But first, it was an active Hair Raiser mailbag, mostly centered around Phil's predictions for the Minnesota Vikings. So
not great.
No, it wasn't great, but I hope this comes through fine because I want to replay this because this was delightful to listen to you.
Vikings lose easily. Vikings get off from their defense is terrible. The Lions defense is bad. Vikings are 40 points tonight. It's going to be 42-17. Boat race the Detroit Lions. I'm picking them Vikings by a mill. Vikings are going to steal the soul of the Lions. F Lions.
Vikings by a mill, Phil said. Steal the soul.
There's a lot going on there. Boat race and steal the soul and a million points.
Well, I got to come back to boat race, but Phil, any thoughts about?
Hopefully, nobody is doing any betting based off of my picks.
I do appreciate the fact that you were so aggressively wrong. You know, if you're gonna go a direction,
hey.
Now if we heard my voice in the first part, I said the Vikings were gonna lose, which I was right.
which they did.
I also won DraftKings
Today?
No,
or last
week.
Yeah, I don't think I'm playing next year.
Oh, you're just gonna quit?
I
said next year. Oh, make it through this year because I've won money, but I don't need to give you any of my money.
You guys are still doing that?
I feel like $5 a week from you is just fine. Yeah, of course I was. I invited you twice. You didn't play, so you don't get invited.
Are you winning again this week? Not that anybody tunes in to listen to us talk about DraftKings.
Well, no, I'm not currently winning. No.
What else from the Hair Raiser mailbag? I'm curious.
Well, that was
mostly that.
I mean, that was a huge mail sack, if you will. but Phil made wildly
Did you
wrong.
say huge mail sack?
Yup. The mail sack.
Oh, I
Not
took it as
male-
M-A-L-E.
No, go ahead.
No, M-A-I-L. What'd you think it meant?
S-A-
I said it. M-A-L-E sack.
No,
Like
M-A-I-L
a big,
sack.
just like a big ball sack.
Right. It was a huge sack of you. I still enjoy it to go in.
Vikings lose easily. Vikings can outscore them. Their defense is terrible.
Bad
Right.
defense, he says.
Vikings are putting up 42 points tonight. It's going to be 42-17.
Not even
Race
close.
the Detroit Lions.
Not even close.
I'm picking them Vikings by a mill.
I don't know.
Vikings are going to steal the soul of the Lions. Lions.
Somehow the Lions reminded Darnold that he's Sam Darnold.
That makes me laugh.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say.
What do you got for tomorrow night? That's what you can start with.
Just a second.
You don't know?
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you're asking what my prediction is for tomorrow night?
Yeah. I mean,
Vikings by a mill. They're not playing in LA. LA is unfortunately and scarily burning to the ground, apparently. So it's in Arizona.
but not
That only
surprisingly.
helps the Vikings. So
I don't know if it matters. Do we want to do a Vikings pregame thing here? But I don't know if it matters if it's in LA or if it's in Arizona. LA's the Rams anyway, they're well known for never really having a home game because there's so many other fans at their game.
Oh, I'm just like hearing people's predictions, and then we could record it.
I think it's going to be Vikings by, 18.
Vikings by 18. Got it.
By 18?
That's an odd number. Vikings are going to
24
win. Okay, let's say Vikings by
24 is
12.
I'm going to say 24-17 Vikings.
42-14.
Darnold's the quarterback whisperer will get Darnold back in line. He won't miss wide open receivers right in front of the goal line again.
But
they'll have it figured out, and then they'll win this game.
Here's the thing, though.
And then go back to Detroit and do the same.
Kevin O'Connell didn't make any adjustments at all.
What adjustments did he have to make? They were in.
I don't know. They were bringing
quarter.
pressure, and Darnold had no time to throw. Give him a let's stop running 20-yard pass plays and slow it down to, I don't know, a 6-yard out.
Didn't they have 4 opportunities inside the red zone to score touchdowns and came up 0 or with one field goal? So he missed Jordan Addison. He was wide open. He missed Justin Jefferson wide open.
Right, but you
go ahead 17-7 in that game. It's a whole different ball game.
He was getting pressured.
And I'm trying to blame Sam Darnold on that whole game, but it hit a few wide open receivers, and it's a whole different ball game. The defense kept them in that game through 3 quarters against arguably the best football team in the league.
He was getting pressured.
They all get pressured. Every quarterback in the NFL gets pressured. It's
he was starting to see ghosts. Game. He was seeing ghosts.
That's what got him to the 5-yard line?
Well, the fumble.
It's hard to win by 1,000,000 points when your quarterback seeing ghosts.
You're right. That's why we lost.
Exactly. We didn't lose handily. The score says handily. We didn't lose handily. We were in that game up until the defense realized that somehow Detroit made Darnold. Detroit reminded the league why Darnold is who he is, and even he forgot who he was during the rest of the 14 wins that they had for the season. I say they bounce back and they win 24-17.
Who are we cheering for in this Tampa Bay Washington game, by the way?
Yeah, I'm not cheering for anybody. I'm talking to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, you're in a separate.
I don't really
room.
care.
I don't have 9 TVs on my wall like you do.
I just have one. The Packers lost.
There's only 4. One of them died. Did I tell you that? One of my TVs died.
Your TV died?
The TV in my bedroom died. So I had to take the tailgate TV. It's a good thing I had an extra one at hand. Yeah, so the tailgate TV has been moved up to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Tailgate TVs tend to fall.
How many tailgates you go to?
How many TVs have I lost tailgating? 2.
I saw 1. 1 went down.
Right. 1 went down.
Hey, but we had a backup.
Travis caught it with his foot.
No, if Travis would have caught it with his foot, it wouldn't have broke. Travis was 3 seconds too slow.
We all just watched in awe.
And then watched in awe as they pulled another TV out of the back of the pickup and put it up.
That's a baller move, by the way.
That was a baller move.
That's
a professional move.
It is.
Right.
That's a pro move.
Right. But okay, who won the division though? Tampa Bay won the division, right? So if Washington wins, Washington has to go play the Lions and the Vikings have to go play in Philadelphia when they win.
No,
correct?
If the Vikings win, they go to Detroit.
That is not true because they are the 5th seed, and I think Washington is like the 6th or 7th.
Hold on, I'll look
and the Washington quarterback is dead. Because the Lions play the lowest seed. It's not like other NCAA tournament. It's not like college football. They reseed it. So whoever is the lowest seed is who the Lions play.
Correct. It does get reseeded. You can't take a bracket and just look like you're going to move on.
Right.
Phil's right.
No flag there. That was very similar to Adam Bach hitting what's his toes out of bounds.
That's terrible podcast because nobody saw it. You know what was awesome was watching Dan Jackson get announced as the new coach for South Dakota State University football at the ball game on Saturday. Announced him early on in the first half. Came out for a standing ovation. You know, it's a good start. It doesn't win you any ball games. I get that.
Right.
But it was a great moment with over 2,000 people there. All cheering. Dan and Missy come walking out to center court, and
wonderful people.
It was. It was good.
I had a buddy text me from the game. He's like, "Boy, Dan got a pretty warm welcome." I was like, Well, what'd you expect? People to boo? Like, I don't.
That's a
I
good
don't
point.
know.
It was going to be a warm welcome, but I think it was a nice moment. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
so now all the fun's going to be over. He did the press conference
Right.
on set.
Hey! The fun is not going to be over. We are winning a national championship next year.
Well,
No, what Eric's saying is,
I know what Eric's saying.
The honeymoon is over. Let's go win a national championship.
Right now you got to get to work.
Yes.
Yeah, right. It's getting to work. I wouldn't say the honeymoon's over.
He's getting it. Are we happy about Idness being back?
Absolutely. Eric Eisness.
I remember a Philip DeGroat about 7-8 years ago.
As long as he doesn't throw the swing pass all the time.
Idness.
No. That was more on the defense. We usually lost because our defenses weren't that good when Eisness was here. Eisness, when he was the offensive coordinator, we averaged 32 some
It's a good thing we brought one of our old defensive coordinators back.
Yeah, he's really good. I was excited to see Berge come back.
The defense.
Berge wasn't the defensive coordinator then.
He was co-defensive coordinator with Jimmy.
When we weren't as good and our offense was Zach Zenner in those years, Berge was not the co-defensive coordinator. He wasn't even at the school. It was Clint Brown or somebody.
10 years ago.
Yes, it was not Berge. When we had bad defenses. Our defenses got good with Jimmy Rogers and Berge. And that's when we started winning championships.
I'm glad they're all back.
Right.
I think they all went out and got some really good experience, and they're all back.
Yeah. I actually was super surprised at Isis. I did not realize he had been, I wouldn't even say demoted. I think he asked to move down from offensive coordinator to quarterback coach at Northern Illinois.
He had some
family issues going on.
He had a lot going on in his life, and I'm with you. I don't think he was demoted.
Right.
It probably seemed like a demotion. But it's more
who beat Notre Dame this year?
Yeah.
Eric, you look like you're in heaven.
That's right.
Beautiful glow.
It is.
No, I'm excited. Dan Jackson's already doing Dan Jackson things with recruiting. He's got the Eben kid from Central Line who's coming from Iowa. He's got a tight end to play linebacker, which we needed a linebacker. We got a tight end from Iowa. Not sure we needed another tight end, but we'll take it, right? He got a running back out of Wisconsin. What else did he get? I think the transfer quarterback ended up coming back. Claiborne is coming back. He's got a little bit more work probably, but we needed a running back. I think we're okay. I think we're set. Our quarterback room is no different than what it was before Jimmy left.
And the offensive line is in all that bad a shape either.
The offensive line is just fine.
No, the cupboard is not bare. It's not like we're starting from scratch.
Van Tol came back. Van Tol is going to be a beast. That kid is going to be a really, really, really good linebacker. And so, yeah, do we need to add some depth? I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, we did lose 20 to 25 kids between incoming freshmen and guys that were here. But, listen to Gaskins. He made a good point. He's like, I don't understand why all these running backs followed Jimmy to Washington State when, like, if one of them stays, they're the man here, right? But all three of you left. That didn't, like, that's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Apparently, Angel said he wanted to go somewhere where he was the premier back. Well, he didn't do that.
Well, no. Right. He's still going to be he would have been the premier back here.
Right.
Or there. So, like, yeah, but they all went. So now he's not going to be the premier back anymore. Is he going to transfer portal and come back? Be cool.
We don't know what their influences are, though, either. They got a lot of people coming at them. They got family members coming at them. They got money coming at them. What's nice to know about Dan coming in is he brings an outside perspective, but yet he knows the SDSU culture that they've worked so hard to build. So now, Philip, you sent us that text about the NIL and all of that. They need someone like Dan who's seen that into the world, who embraces it, right?
Right. And
So
maybe this was
so many people want to put it down. "Ah, that's a new college football. That's how it goes." Well, you know what? It is. So you either embrace it and own it and move forward with it and make the best of it, or you don't, and then you fall behind every other college university in the country.
right. Right. Back to what Eric mentioned last week, like was this almost in place or was this not even close to in place? That's what I kind of wonder, being that it's through Learfield and kind of through that division of marketing and this and that for SDSU. I would assume it was kind of, they were already working on it, and then suddenly it's like, okay, guys, we need to get this done now. So I wonder if they moved up the time frame of, okay, we're like, it's not going to be perfect, but it at least is going to be here.
But you mentioned the Gaskins happy hour thing. They had Justin Sell on. I don't know if you listened to that, but
didn't have a chance to listen to him.
He did talk about that, and it seemed like this was a springboard to get this thing up and moving. And he brought up the JFPA and how well they're doing to help keep players where they are, and how to get more money in. And he seemed more happy about Dan coming in because he understands that end of it. And
Right.
maybe this was a springboard. Like, okay, guys, enough is enough. Let's push this thing forward. We cannot continue our football program because this is a kick in the face to lose all these players and all these coaches, but this is the world we live in, so we better figure it out.
But it isn't even it. This is for all sports. I think it probably, like, I think they maybe were waiting for it to be better, but this was the catalyst to say, guys, if we're 80% there, let's get it out there and we can finish it, right? Because to me, with it being through Learfield, who does, I think, a lot of the marketing, and you have to go through Learfield if you want to get clothes or whatever and branding that has SDSU on it, because I think basically Learfield kind of owns the SDSU branding now. Now you can start selling the jerseys with kids' names on them, and you can do some of those sorts of stuff in partnership with the university. And so to me, like, they obviously have been working on it for a while, and this was just like the catalyst to say, hey, we're 75% there, but we need to get it out here and we need to do something. So let's put it out here, and whatever things we need to finish fixing, we can fix on the go now, but we have to have something.
Oh, for sure. And Justin also said, we've been dealing with this in the men's basketball program for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's nothing new to us. It just finally hit the football program.
Right. And it freaked everybody out.
Correct.
Yeah.
As it should.
Yeah.
And he said his job was to just calm the storm. And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not doing direct quotes here.
Right.
He just said his job was to calm the storm over Christmas break and just keep everybody's level heads.
Well,
and keep players there. And he said Chase Mason apparently was one of the leaders in that, which is good to hear because he's your quarterback. So his idea is how many offensive linemen do I have? You know, where do we look on offense? Sure, we're losing wide receiver, but who do we have coming in? So for Justin, this isn't anything new. I think it was probably something bigger than what he's dealt with. But in basketball, we've dealt with Nagy leaving, then TJ comes in, then suddenly TJ leaves. You know, and everybody's afraid Dom was going to leave. But Dom stuck around. Klinkenfu stuck around. So this isn't anything new to Justin Sell, but it's maybe bigger with a football program because you have more people and more players involved.
Right.
Well, I think I said last week, he has a list of names. He's got, I promise you, he has a piece of paper that has a list of names if even AJ left.
Mm-hmm. And he talked about that too, because Zimmer asked him that.
Yeah, I know.
He said the same thing. He's like, you've got a group of people on your coaching staff, because you did with Idness, you did with Ack, you did with Dan Jackson, who on this coaching staff is potential to be a head coach at some point. And he went through all those names, the ones we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks here. So yeah, you're right, Eric. And you said it, I think last week or the week before, he has a list of names. He's ready for this if it happens. And And a 3-hour interview is what he had with Dan Jackson. I'm assuming he had that with numerous coaches. That's a long interview. And apparently Dan called him or texted him or emailed him or something afterwards with a whole list of questions about where's the university at with that. And he didn't allude to the specifics of that, but I'm guessing the NIL and the collective was a big part of those questions.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Right.
Like, where are we at with this? This is what I've witnessed at an FBS program. Where is South Dakota State with this?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Back to some of the kids. I'm just looking at 2025 on the JI Tollefson's whatever his running list. So 2025 to be determined. They have a Trevon Pankey, Sebastian Fries, Lincoln Schmenko. So he's from Sioux Falls Christian. I think they'll be able to keep him. I know that he's really, really good, but that would be great to keep him. And then Sullivan Schlimgen hasn't made a decision. He's out of O'Gorman, probably the best football player in the state of South Dakota this year. Yeah, I would say he was. That kid's a stud. So, and Sioux Falls kid, I think Dan Jackson can walk into hit both of those guys or any of these guys' living rooms and be like, you still want to come to SDSU. This coaching staff is top notch, and they probably had already talked to Berge. So Dan Jackson being able to recruit is like, we're gonna have a roster that rivaled anything that left. It's kind of how I feel. I mean, other than like, if you can find a Wilde type kid out there, that was the biggest one. And you already knew Gronowski was leaving. And Dan Jackson being Dan Jackson, like, he has connections now in SEC country, down in Nebraska yet, over closer to Chicago, out on the West Coast with Idaho. Like, that dude has covered a map, and he is going to get some dudes.
Yeah, he's ready for this.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have Dan. He's an exciting guy. He's just
not sure what else to say about it. He's not a chill guy. He's a pretty aggressive guy.
Yeah.
He's not a Jimmy Rogers, but
that's okay. Dan will actually at least look happy once in a while and be happy, as opposed to always being annoyed.
He's an in-between Jimmy and John Stiglmeyer.
Right.
One thing that's tough to look happy about was the SDSU men's trip over the weekend. Oh boy. Wednesday night, that we got to watch that one. Kind of fun to have it on Wednesday night, not opposite the women. And Mark, did you
No, I did not go.
Did you make it?
Not go? $10 was a bridge too far?
I think the drive back to Minneapolis is probably a bridge too far.
Yep. Especially since I found myself on 12 inches of ice fishing Wednesday evening.
You found yourself like it was an accident?
Yeah, somehow I just ended up.
Like the car went off the road and like, I might as well just try and fish.
So you picked up your bag chair out of your living room and just brought it out to the ice?
I did. I tailgated on the ice and didn't make it to the game.
By yourself? Do you ice fish by yourself?
Absolutely.
Isn't that dangerous? What happens if you fall in?
Why are you falling in?
Because it's ice.
You could drive out on it if you want. Anyway,
back
to the men.
You're gonna be like the grandpa or the old man from
Grumpy Old Men.
Grumpy Old Men. You drink your supper, don't you?
Right.
And I eat nothing but bacon.
Sounds about right.
But back to the men. No, I didn't.
The men's basketball game.
It just didn't work out for me to get there. But is that a bad win at St. Thomas?
Bad loss?
Or a bad loss?
No, it's not a bad loss. It was going to be
loss.
Yeah. Every loss is a bad loss in my book. But.
Well, it was going to be a really good win for either team that won. That was a very good win for St. Thomas. They've been trying to do that. I mean, they've done it, but so they went 3-0 at that point, and then they go on to go 4-0. But that was a big win for St. Thomas. It would have been a big win for SDSU on the road too, because that's a very good St. Thomas team.
Right. Absolutely. And it's hard to win in St. Thomas, even when they're not great.
It's absolutely, it's a tough place to play. But okay, so Phil, did you watch it?
I was able to watch most of it after I got home from youth group. Yep.
Okay, so if you look at the very narrow aspect, about 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go in the game, whoever that guard from St. Thomas gets fouled, misses 2 free throws.
Right.
SDSU gets the rebound, comes back down the other way. A shot's missed. Moores gets the rebound. He's fouled, and he misses both free throws.
Right.
And in my opinion, at that little microcosm there, that was a big deal. If Morris hits those 2 free throws, that whole game is different. But on the bigger aspect, SDSU turned the ball over 14 times, right?
Yeah, I do have it right here. I need more stats. Yes, they had 13 turnovers. Yep, they had 13 turnovers.
Yep. And they scored what, 19 points off of that?
They had. Oh, you're saying St. Thomas.
Yeah, SDSU turned the ball over 13 times, leading to 19 points.
Right. And they only had 4 turnovers.
St. Thomas is a veteran team, turned the ball over 4 times.
That's nothing new against St. Thomas, though.
Right. Well, but there's the bigger picture. You can't turn the ball over 14 times and think you're going to win on the road.
Right. And they shot. They're like, we were 8 for 23 from 3. They were 13 for 33. So I mean, they shot more 3-pointers, made more 3-pointers.
Well, they're coming into that
free throw
game,
percentage was exactly the same. So what I'm just saying is the big difference, to your point, like we out rebounded them immensely.
Well, and you knew that coming in. SDSU is going to win on the glass because St. Thomas isn't very tall. St. Thomas was the best scoring offense in the league coming into the game, shooting almost 50% from the field. And SDSU held them to 43.9. They did everything. They out-rebounded them. They held them a little bit slightly. But these little things like free throws and then turning the ball over 14
turnovers,
times,
right. You make 2 more free throws and you win that basketball game.
Yep.
Right. And just too many turnovers. Right. And there's on occasion, probably some bad shots,
Yeah. Well, SDSU's we'll call it the third quarter, but the first half of the second half, if you will, that was rough.
Yes.
Not great.
It just came out of the locker room with, I mean, St. Thomas picked up the intensity, I think, caught us probably a little bit off guard. And then we just kind of, I don't know, lost focus and just turned the ball over too much.
Kalen Gary had 19, Clough had 13, Saylor 12, Morris 10.
All right. Joe Saylor went 0 for 5 from 3-point. That hurts. And
the interesting, so that night, that was 2 really good. There's another great basketball game that night was KC going into Omaha, and Omaha shut them down.
Omaha's good.
Basically, what Omaha did to KC, what KC has been doing to other teams, they went 77-58. Oh boy. Now, look out. So now we'll just skip ahead to Saturday. SDSU has to go back down to Omaha. They don't win that game. I didn't watch it. I was up watching the women play. KC up in Brookings.
Sam and I watched it on his phone at a dance recital. So I watched some of it, but we didn't play great defense. Now, there was another game that day that was no defense, but we did not play great defense that game. If we play even a slightly more lick of defense, I think we are able to take down a very, very, very good Omaha team.
Which is surprising.
We didn't shoot the ball very well in that game.
Who saw Omaha coming out 4-0 to start the Summit League?
And not this guy.
Nobody.
Nobody
saw Omaha doing that.
They're 10-9. Right? So that win against us finally got them up over 500. And who did they go and play this non-conference? Go into November.
Well, the bigger thing was
they lost to the Gophers, UNLV, Southern Utah, Alabama State, got smoked by Alabama State, Akron, beat Lamar, lost to Abilene.
Omaha shouldn't even beat North Dakota State. They're down double digits in the second half, and North Dakota State lets them come back and win.
Right.
So now we're looking at Omaha 4-0
Thursday,
and
right?
St. Thomas 119-104 against USD on Saturday.
I was talking about where there was no defense.
Yeah,
that's wild. That's a fun game to watch.
I bet so. I bet that was cool.
Right? It's just We're not going to play any defense. You're not going to play any defense. Let's just get up and down this court and just chuck.
119-104. That's an NBA score.
Right.
Is St. Thomas eligible to if they win the Summit League?
No,
They're still not
No.
eligible, right?
No.
they are not.
How many more years of that do they have?
Theoretically, well, it's supposed to be 5. There's supposed to be a meeting coming up here in a little bit where maybe somebody can lawyer up. Maybe they can be eligible next year, but theoretically they'd have to wait next year. And then, so the 26-27 season.
Wow, think of that. You're recruiting players to your team, telling them, well, yeah, you're going to be really good.
Well,
but even if we win the Summit League, we can't go to the big show.
But here's the thing about it, though. Like, okay, I still get a scholarship. I can't go and play in the playoffs, but I can show people that I can play at this high level and then transfer. Right? And so, like,
yeah,
you don't lose anything by doing it because you can leave if you're really good. Which didn't they have like one of their best players again last year leave or not? Or was that 2 years ago?
St. Thomas, I don't. Those guys feel like they graduate, but as opposed to leaving out of there.
But I thought 2 years ago their best player did transfer out.
That could be.
I could be wrong.
Well, it's a lot of stuff to remember.
Nobody comes here for facts.
Well, nobody wants.
Other than three facts and 3 headlines and a lie, those are facts. 3 of them anyway.
Well, 3 are not facts. The only fact is you've won the last 3 weeks.
And
4. Hold on.
4.
And
4
apparently
weeks.
you are frozen.
Mark froze? Yeah, he is froze. Look at that.
You can hear me, not
hear
see
you.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you, not see you.
Hold on, I'll fix it. You do your thing.
Okay. So in the standings, we drop all the way down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, St. Thomas and Omaha sit at 4-0. North Dakota State kind of righted the ship a little bit. They got 2 wins.
Yeah.
UND, I don't think they can right the ship. They lose 83-79 to Oral Roberts. And Oral Roberts actually has some talent. They just got to get it put together.
Right.
And Denver on both the men's and women's side.
Ooh, not great.
Not good.
Are we moving to the women now?
Yeah, I just know that Denver is 0-4 on both the men's and women's side.
Right. I'm removing you, Mark, until you move on my screen.
You ended Mark. The SDSU women Thursday night, as you would expect, SDSU just ran away with that one over Omaha, 93-55. Brooklyn Meyer got her 1,000, or was honored for 1,000 point Thursday night.
Right.
43rd player in history to get that feat in SDSU history.
In SDSU history.
Right.
What was I going to say? That game was fairly close until halftime, like 8, 9, 10 points. And then out of nowhere, and you assumed at some point the Avalanche was going to come, and then suddenly we were up by 30. It was like over quick.
Yeah, Omaha's just not. Even that Cave is their name. I mean, she didn't do that much. Omaha's just not there. Haley Timber has 17. Maddie Mathewitz goes for 13. Mesa Byam with 10.
Right.
On that night, so USD, who's skipping ahead, is 3-1 in the conference. They beat St. Thomas that night, 77-60. North Dakota State has not lost in conference. They're 69-59 winners over Denver that night. Moving on to Saturday. Now, that was more the closer game, like Phil, what you just said. SDSU was only up 4 at halftime, and AJ was not happy. He couldn't have been happy with that first half on SDSU in Kansas City, 34-30 at half. And they come out in the third quarter. SDSU shot 80%, outscored Kansas City 25-12, and then they roll to a 78-61 victory on Saturday.
Right.
So what do you think he was not happy about?
Just how they were playing.
Execution.
What were they doing wrong?
Well, he clearly looked upset about some defensive, possibly switching on some screens and where they needed to be. And then they had this stretch where when they opened up the game, SDSU looked like. Oh, by the way, so SDSU looked like they were going to boat race them for the the first 3 minutes, and
Yep.
so I was asked. So now, all right. So other than Mark, your son didn't know what boat race was. Never heard it before in his life.
Nobody does. Everybody I've talked to since last week, nobody has heard the word boat raced.
Okay, so you're wrong. But
So we need a poll then. Like, have
We
you
do
heard of
need
the
a
term
poll.
boat race? Yes or no?
so the only two people that I
Absolutely.
talked to, and this is terrible pod because not everybody knows these people, but Mark, your boy, didn't know it, and neither did Jeff. That's it.
Tito's?
Yeah.
Well, let's not put everything on what Jeff does and does not know.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
So I
Jeff's
think
a
I'm in
dude,
good
but-
company. I asked numerous people at work. I asked.
Didn't know
numerous
boat
people here.
race, huh?
None of them heard, and I've never heard Philip, and I've known him his whole life, use the word boat raced.
Yeah.
So anyway, it doesn't matter.
Let me ask you this.
Don't you think Kansas City had something to do with why SDSU is playing so poorly?
No.
No?
SDSU had a stretch where, so they looked like they were going to boat race them in the first 4 minutes, right? SDSU's up, whatever, 12-3. It's just SDSU's making passes, getting people cutting to the hoop, easy layups. And then it went into this odd jack up a three, and Kansas City did a great job of rebounding and not so much boxing out, but being that person that comes in from behind you that you didn't see coming there and just steals it away from you. And that kept Kansas City in the game in the first half. Good rebounding, like sniper type rebounding, and SDSU just taking a three and it not going down.
So a good butt chewing at halftime. A good come on.
And then
guys.
they came back out and they passed it more crisp, easy layups, and then to their credit, the threes started falling too.
Yeah.
It was just they made it look so easy, and then SDSU kind of settled. It felt like they settled for 3-point shots without running the offense. Whatever. I'm not a coach.
But okay. So do you see the women losing
No,
at all from now until the end of the summer league tournament?
Absolutely not.
I don't either.
Can it happen? Of course. But I'm saying, if you want me to bet, I'm not.
No, I'm not asking you to bet.
I'm just saying. I'm like, I know they can lose. I'm just saying, there's no game they're going to go into, other than maybe ORU at home. But it's at home. They took care of the tough challenge. We'll see what USD can put up. I don't know whether USD is good or not. Their non-conference would suggest maybe not so much, and we'll see what NDSU has.
Yeah,
but
I don't see them losing until the NCAA tournament.
No, I don't think so either.
I just put the poll out there, and right now, yes is winning. So just FYI.
That they know what boat race was.
Well, now the yes was.
Yes, did you vote for it yourself? You put a poll out and then voted on your own poll
from my other Twitter account, because you can't vote on it from the actual Twitter account that you put it out there.
That doesn't count.
So everybody go. We'll keep an eye on it during the podcast.
Well, I'm curious.
How many Twitter accounts can I create between now and whenever it ends?
9.
As many as you want.
Wait, so let me get this straight. So your life is ice fishing and creating Twitter accounts to win a meaningless bet.
To win a poll.
That's all I got.
Wow, you're busy guy. So I ran into when we're talking
boat race, a boat race.
No, okay. So I ran into some other people's verbiage. All right, so here's a word for you. I honestly want to know if you understand this word: dignitary.
Yeah, it's like an important person, like
smart,
like somebody in government or
right.
Yeah.
Mark, you had that too. You didn't get
No, I got dignitary.
I ran into a podcast listener who I used the term dignitary, and they asked me what they acted about dignitary the way Mark acts about boat raced. I was shocked.
This is an act.
Okay, exhibit.
Do you have any more? Are there more or not, or is that it?
Oh, what dignitary? Oh, there was also
like other terms.
There was another term over the weekend. Pantheon.
Pantheon?
Yep, Pantheon.
Go on.
Do we know what that means?
It's Greek.
Isn't that a building?
No, that's a.
That's the Pantheon. I've been in the Pantheon.
That's the.
It's a cool hole
have
up the
you?
top.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's nice of you to bring that up.
There's a drain in
So
the
it
middle of
would
the
be
floor.
like
It's in Rome.
It would be like Mark is in the pantheon of people who don't understand terms.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know if I knew Pantheon.
So pantheon would be like levels.
Pantheon.
The smaller group.
No, what Phil's talking is about the Parthium.
Parthenon, yeah.
Right.
You didn't even know it either.
I didn't want to do that.
I've been there, and you couldn't even say it.
Oh no. There's 5 votes so far. We're at it.
What about piss pound?
I think everybody knows what that is.
Everybody knows what a piss pounding is.
What is it,
After
Phil?
5 votes, it's
what about
80% yes, 20% no. Derek
about
James
shit for brain?
Perner. Derek James
Oh, I know
Perner
that
said
one.
That and Doors Blown Off are my 2 favorites. So I don't know who Derek Perner is, but if you listen to the pod, thank you. He says that and Doors Blown Off are my 2 favorites. So I'm going to give that guy a thumbs up.
Doors blown off. I've heard of that one.
Yep.
Hey, shit for brains. Get
Yep.
your ass back to the podcast.
She's called me shit for brains. Do you know what that means?
Yeah. Do you?
Yes, we were
Why?
called shit for brains when we started a fire one time, Gerlach and I, by our father.
Yep.
Oh, you were called shit for brains long before that, Philip.
Well, I was, but Gerlach had never heard it before.
Right. I got involved.
Right?
Isn't this a family show? Why are you guys swearing?
Anyways.
Well, I think it gets the point across. Don't
No,
do that.
I don't. When I put it on YouTube, I did put not for kids. So
Oh.
we're okay there.
Well, if you do dumb things, you get
called shit for brains.
Exactly.
Do we really still think, though, going back to the standings of the Summit League, NDSU 3-0, USD 3-1, they're still not on our level, though, right?
No.
On the men's side?
On the women's side.
Well, yeah, I think we just covered the fact that I said I don't think there's a summer league team that can touch.
Okay. Sorry,
SDSU.
I was putting a poll out there. I kind of
Okay. Yeah.
spaced off for a second.
I don't see us losing till we hit the NCAA tournament.
What
I think
round?
that's fair. It can happen.
Sweet 16, Elite 8. What are you thinking?
SDSU? Well, SDSU took. Well, let's not count our chickens.
Let's
but
not do that.
SDSU took care of 2 of the tougher road wins. They
Right.
took care of winning at ORU, and going to Denver is always tough.
Right.
So now you're left with
Altitude.
going
It's
up
the
to North
altitude.
Dakota State and maybe USD, but nobody's going to be there anyway. So SDSU kind of knocked out the tough road wins. They did. And Denver.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
SDSU had a terrible first half in Denver too on the women's side.
Right. It's the oxygen. It's lack of oxygen.
Is that what it is?
You've gone skiing out there.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. You get winded just climbing the stairs. Now, granted, we're at a couple thousand more feet elevation than in Denver, but you're still at 10,000 feet elevation. It's hard to breathe.
It could have been the pound of pizza at
The brewery?
no, what's the place? What's the place in
Bojo's. Yeah.
Bojo's, thank you.
Bojo's.
I was gonna say Eskimo Joe's. That was Oklahoma State, but Bojo's.
No,
We ordered
Bojo's is awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah.
You know what's not fun is skiing. But moving on. Moving on.
It's even worse. You know what's even worse is watching you ski.
Yeah, absolutely. Hot tub how I ski is hot tub and bush lights. That's how you ski.
That is exactly how you skied that weekend.
It was fun though. You had a right hand turn. The unfortunate part was you had no left hand turn, so it just became a circle.
No, he just ended up in the trees,
pride.
just
I
right
have
into the trees.
No pride taking my skis off and walking back uphill.
I do
Why did you
appreciate
walk
the fact that
uphill?
you just yelled at you. Mark yelled at me. He's like, "Go!
Just go.
I'm just done with you. Be gone."
I really enjoyed your confidence though when we went out there and you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy a ski, a lift ticket for 2 days and 2 days of skis. Dude, you don't even know how to ski. I appreciate that compliment.
It was.
Alex Anderson, fellow youth group leader, says it's one of my favorites to use. Boat race for a blowout. We have
Yep.
25 votes already. People like us. 25 votes, 88% to 12. 88 yes, 88% yes.
Well, of course, because it's a real thing.
Right.
How many?
88%. There's 25 votes.
We have that
And they're
many
not
people
all me.
watching live right now?
Huh?
We have that many people watching live right now.
It's not live. I put it
they
on Twitter.
responded to the Twitter.
Oh, you put it, oh, they're watching on Twitter.
Right.
No, they're not necessarily watching on Twitter.
They're not
saw
watching on
Phil
Twitter.
post
I
a
just put the poll on Twitter.
Oh.
Mark, you know, didn't Lincoln boat race Aberdeen Central?
I think we won by 19 or 20. Yeah.
That's a boat race.
Yeah. A little bit closer than I kind of thought, but we struggled a little bit in the first half, maybe moving the ball around and getting good shots. And playing defense. They like AJ had a talking to by Coach Hanneman and came out and played much better basketball the second half. So
I was thinking that's tough. So what time did Sam get on the bus?
So we talked about
11
that. They left
the whole time.
They had a walkthrough from 9 to 10. They all then probably went home, got back on the bus at 11. Don't play until 7. So they have 8 hours of nothing.
Yep.
Right. And granted, you watch the freshmen and you watch the JV, like you watch the other games. They said they were able to get some like stationary bikes, or they found some stationary bikes, so they rode those. But yeah, I said to Jen at one point at the beginning of the game, I said, boy, it looks like I was talking about Sam, but I think it could have been for all of them. I said, it looks like he's got concrete shoes on. They just are all moving just so slow. But came out of it in the second half. He ended up scoring 20 points, 7 rebounds. So pretty nice game for him. I think Luke Krimke's had 10 points. He had double digits. Eddie Knoll or Brody Schaefer had double digits. I think 4 of our 5 starters had double digit scoring. So they kind of woke up a little bit in the second half. But yes, to your point, Eric, it is, I find it extremely hard to drive all the way up to Aberdeen, sit around, and then come out and play a basketball game.
It's got to be tough. And imagine that on a Tuesday.
Yeah, imagine that on a Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a Saturday.
Right. That was a Friday. It was a Friday game. They didn't have school that day. It was a Friday game, but they didn't have school that day.
Okay.
Not that it probably matters. The bigger shocker in AA basketball was Mitchell losing out to Harrisburg on Tuesday night. That was slightly unexpected. And then Harrisburg rolls up. You know, they got all this momentum, and then they roll up and lost to Huron, which Huron's got a couple of really good players. They got the Elwine kid and they got the Porsche kid. So they're not a bad basketball team, but it's just kind of surprising. Like, you took care of business against Mitchell, but then Mitchell turned around and almost lost to Yankton.
Yankton kept it very close with Mitchell on Friday night.
Right. And then Jefferson, right. I think they only won by 5. Yeah, we threw that on the way back. Jefferson rolled out to Rapid and had to take a 3 overtime game to beat Rapid City Stevens to not go 0-2 out in Rapid. So that's I don't know. That's a pretty interesting AA. And then Sioux Falls Christian in A did not boat race Hamlin, but they kind of laid it to them. Now, that was at Sioux Falls Christian. Hamlin will probably come back and beat Sioux Falls Christian in the championship game. I think that was just a preview of the championship game. I do think Sioux Falls Christian will get them this year in the championship.
No, I'm sure they wanted one more shot.
Right. That's your quick little rundown of high school basketball. Washington beat Pierre in overtime, needed a fadeaway 3-pointer to tie it, to send that one into overtime, and then they pulled it out at the end over Pierre. So AA is interesting, apparently. We'll find out. We play Jefferson on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, and then at the Class A level, you got one region that has all the teams. I mean, you did mention Hamlin, but you're looking at Christian and Lennox,
Dakota Valley,
and Dakota Valley all in the same region.
Right.
And then add in Vermilion.
Right. Yeah, that's
tough.
That region is stacked. I feel bad for them a little bit. Not really.
Well, two of them aren't going to make it.
Right. Right.
And one of these headlines is not going to make it because it is
There we
time
go.
for 3 headlines and a lie. Everybody ready?
You bet.
Got it. All right.
Hey, did you have an EBC? Did you have an EBC tonight or no EBC?
Yeah, we did. I showed it right at the start of the whole operation.
What are you drinking?
It's because I stocked up on Get Your Jolly Sour.
Oh, is it good? Oh, it's the Jolly Rancher sour.
No, Phil, it's terrible. I just bought them.
They have EBC on tap at Pounders up in Aberdeen. I had the peanut butter and jelly sour and a different one. I can't remember what the other sour was.
Tap?
They had it on tap, yes.
Huh.
Really?
Is EBC on tap anywhere in Sioux Falls?
Not that I know of, not that I found. You should, next time you're in there, ask if they have it on tap anywhere in Sioux Falls.
Good. I don't, because they made it seem like it was just like more work than they needed to try and get kegs down to Sioux Falls.
I don't know what to say. Like I walked into Pounders.
Clearly, but.
Right. Like I walked into Pounders and we were kind of waiting for them to shuffle tables around because Jen and I got there a little bit later than the other couple of parents that were already there. And I was like looking at the, handles and I was like, oh shoot, they have EBC here. Good for us.
Yeah. Aberdeen's a ways to go.
Yeah, you don't need to go all the way to Aberdeen. You can just stop in Brookings, get EBC.
That's right.
But we got to do things. Got to do things in Aberdeen to keep the people there. So
that's right. Stop by EBC. Tell them you heard it on the podcast. You get to pay the same price.
Right. They just
there's no discounts for who wins.
Oh, they might look at you really oddly.
Right.
Depending on who's working.
You're on what? What did you hear this?
You get one free for winning 3 headlines and a lie.
That's right.
Nope, that's not a thing. Anyways, continue on, Eric. Sorry.
Here we go. No, that was good information. I did not know that they were up in Aberdeen.
Yep.
Here we go. Headline number 1. How do you keep monkeys from making mischief?
That's it?
That's the headline. Yep.
Okay. You shoot them.
Jeez.
Headline number 2. Why your plant hates your sourdough starter.
Whoa. Repeat that, please.
Why your plant hates your sourdough starter.
Yeah, I feel like that's legit. Sourdough is a big thing right now. And I would assume that the starter starch or whatever it is has issues with plants. Okay. Keep going.
Number 3 is Italian village forbids residents from becoming ill.
Okay. Don't know how they can do that.
And number 4 is childhood home of AC/DC founders mistakenly demolished by Sydney property developers.
Sydney, Australia?
I'm not supposed to answer things like that, but yes.
Okay. I'm going with the second one. I'm going with the Italian city, whatever the Italian city was.
Oh, you're saying the lie is Italian village forbids residents from becoming ill.
Yes, that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I'm going with the third one.
I guess Italian. What was the third one? Isn't it Italian city?
The third one was Italian village forbids residents from becoming ill.
Oh, you said the second one.
I said whichever one was the Italian one. I don't keep track.
Oh. Well, I guess then we're picking the same one.
Apparently.
You guys are both taking Italian village forbids residents from becoming ill.
Right.
What was the second one?
The second one was why your plant hates your sourdough starter.
Oh, that's what I'm going with.
Oh, you're going with that one?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going with that one.
I got the Italian village.
So Mark wants sourdough starter. Phil wants Italian village. I got that right?
Absolutely.
And for the 5th week in a row, Mark gets it. That was the lie.
And sourdough is a big deal now, though.
A small Italian village banned its residents from becoming seriously ill. People living in Phil, you went to what? No, you went to Spain, right?
Yeah, I was in Spain last year. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. People living in Belcastro are ordered to avoid contracting any illness that may require emergency medical assistance. So the whole thing about it is this town is just an hour from everything. So if you need help, it's problematic. So They thought
And probably up in the mountains. What is the name of the town? Bel Castro?
Bel Castro.
With a B?
Yes, Bel Castro.
Okay.
B-E-L Castro.
B-E-O.
Like the Cuban leader. So what they were doing is trying to be funny. Like basically what they're trying to get across was nobody can come help you. It's the road to the nearest town is an hour, and you can only go about 18 miles an hour because it's windy and they're up in the hills or something. So
It is very much so up in the hills. Close to the Mediterranean, though.
they were ordered not to engage in behaviors that may be harmful and to avoid domestic accidents. No fighting.
Yeah, hopefully everybody gets along. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems.
Also ordered to not to leave the house too often, travel, or practice sports, and to instead rest for the majority of the time.
Huh. This would not be a town for you, Gerlach.
Well, I can get by without leaving the house.
Can you?
During the week, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Really?
Big Sundays, huge Sundays.
Yeah, but you get out reffing and you get out to go to SDSU sporting events.
Yeah, you're right.
That's during the week.
I was in Brookings on Saturday and Sunday, or Saturday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Good attendance up there.
You work in your home.
What's that?
You work in your home now, so I would assume you'd want to get out of it.
Yeah. It's all right here. You get used to it.
All right. I need to
By the way,
I need to get you some posters for your wall.
As long as you check on me every third day, because if something goes wrong between Monday and Wednesday, nobody's going to know.
That's why I do try and call you early in the week. Just a wellness check.
That. It's a welfare check.
Yep, welfare check. Anyways,
okay. This
what are they doing with the monkeys?
Are
we shooting the monkeys? Like, what is happening with the monkeys?
No, they're
the monkeys. So that story, I got to paraphrase that one. What it was is, hey, so you remember The Hangover 2 or 3, where the monkey was involved in?
Yeah.
Well, so that's actually a pretty real thing in a lot of these, in some towns.
I believe it.
So,
in Bangkok.
Yes, Bangkok. Thank you. We'll call it Bangkok. These monkeys go steal stuff. A lot of eyeglasses is a big theft thing for the monkeys. And this little kid, he's like 13 years old. He prides himself. And so if they steal your eyeglasses, then he comes in with these juice boxes. And if you throw it to the monkey, they want the juice box more than they want the eyeglasses. So these kids make a living fetching things back, because if you throw the monkey the thing that they want, which is the mango juice box, they'll throw the glasses back to you. And then he retrieves the stolen item, and then they'll tip him for doing that.
So they're using the monkeys to make money.
No. They're just profiting on the fact that the monkeys steal crap.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought maybe they had.
The monkey's not working for the kid.
I thought them and the monkey were in cahoots.
No.
Oh,
He's
okay.
the monkey's just being a monkey, just monkeying around, if you will. But
oh my gosh.
the kid comes in and says, "Oh, your eyeglasses got stolen? Let me help you out." And juice boxes seem to do it. Mango juice boxes. And the first one doesn't do it because the monkey is going to catch the juice box with one hand. What do you call it? Whatever it is.
I think they have hands.
Is it a hand?
I would assume so.
So then the second juice box, they catch it and then they throw the glasses back down.
Genius.
It is.
Look at those kids. So resourceful.
Well put together.
Right.
It is. It made a Wall Street Journal article.
Well, then it must be real.
Well, I thought it was kind of interesting.
That's interesting. It's interesting enough for 3 headlines and a lie.
It was.
You know what else is interesting is I'm 5 for 5.
You did. And I thought you were going to get it wrong too, and then you changed it.
With that, we got 4 basketball games, 2 men's, 2 women's this week, Erlock.
Yep.
Men are at home.
Men are at home.
All right.
Doubleheader.
And you're going to be there.
Oh crap! No, I'm not. I got a referee on Saturday. I screwed
Oh,
up.
no.
A year ago. I don't have the schedule when you take these games.
Oh. I just assume you never refed on Saturdays.
I don't. Except for this one time.
All right. Well, with that, maybe I'll go up on Saturday.
I know. And we talked about that. You should just rain down the fury on the fact that I missed that one.
I should go to the game. I'm going to blow it up on Twitter and Snapchat.
I was really hoping you weren't going to ask, but you did.
With that, go big.
Go Blue.
Go Jacks.